Today, we're going to talk about the first appearances and key issues for the greatest day of the week. New Comic Book Day, July 20th, 2022. That's coming up next. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we get into talking about all the first appearances, the key issues, and all the cool covers this week, I want to ask you, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do that now. Hit that subscription button, turn on that notification bell so that you get notified when I put out new content. Smash that like button and leave a comment below and let me know what you think about the video. All right, now with all that out of the way, let's jump into our first category, and that's the covers. And I do have a ton of covers this week. A lot of great covers, even some that I left off this list, but these are the ones that I liked. So first up from DC, we've got Artemis Wanted #1. Of course, this is the one shot out this week. This cover is by Becky Cloonan, and I just like it. I liked it. It caught my eye when I saw it. Wanted to include it here on the list. Next up from DC, and this may be more of a homer pick than anything. If you watch this channel at all, you know that I love Superman, and I also love Francisco Mattina. This cover has both. We got Batman Superman World's Finest #5. This is the cover B variant by Francisco Mattina. Absolutely love this. Love Superman. He looks like a badass, and Batman's where he should be, back behind him. Just kidding, Batman fans. I'm just kidding. But no, I love this depiction of Batman and Superman by Mattina, and this is a must-have for me this week. Staying with DC, we got two covers from the same book, and that's Black Adam #2. Now, the first cover is the cover A, and this is the Irvin Rodriguez cover. And I think it's just the yellow background. I don't know, I just dig the way it looks. It's very artsy looking. And I don't know, I just dig it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love that cover. And then we've got the cover D variant by Rafael Sarmiento. Again, just another cool cover. And I don't know, just dig the cover. I think it looks cool. Him standing there holding the lightning in his hand. I think this is a dope cover. And my Jenny Friesen obsession continues this week, but I love this cover. It's Catwoman #45, the cover B variant by Jenny Friesen. And I love this. Like, I think this looks very cool, and I like the depth of it, where it's got the meow in the background. It provides the depth for Catwoman standing in front, and I don't know, like I said, I just absolutely dig it. I love Friesen's art. She's one of my favorite artists out there, and I love her Catwoman stuff. So yeah, this one's absolutely fire. Must have for me this week. Another Catwoman cover. This is Catwoman #45, the cover C Incentive. This is by Sozomachia. I love this cover. Again, very artsy looking cover. Kind of reminds me of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, and I think this one is sweet as well. Staying with DC, ton of DC covers this week. And that may be because I'm a DC homer, I don't know. But absolutely love this cover as well. It's DC versus Vampires All Out War #1, the cover B variant by Cal Najou. Again, name I probably said completely incorrectly. But I love these like zombified covers, and that's what this one is. It's got Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash on there. Absolutely love these. Been picking all these covers up, most of the ones that Mattina has been doing, but I absolutely dig this one as well. Dig the look of this. It's like The Walking Dead with DC superheroes. Yeah, absolutely be on the lookout for this one this week. So another cover from DC versus Vampires All Out War #1, the cover D Incentive by E.J. Curry. This is an awesome Joker cover. I am a sucker for a good Joker cover, and I really like this one. You've got the Joker all vampirized here, and the bats are flying behind him instead of Batman where they normally are found. So yeah, absolutely dig that one as well. Also love a good Art Germ cover, and I think Art Germ covers are just beautiful. I love this one. This is Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings #1, the cover C variant by Art Germ. So yeah, these just look so realistic to me. You know, you've got the background, the forest kind of blurred out. You've got the character, you know, throwing knives on here. I don't know. Like I said, I just thought it was cool. Art Germ's good for a beautiful cover from time to time, and I think he hit the mark this week. Next up, we've got Star Wars Darth Vader #25, the cover C variant by Rod Reese. Now, if you know me very well, I am, and I don't talk about it a lot on here, but I am a total Star Wars homer. I love Star Wars. I've even started on this quest to read like all the graphic novels. So, but I'm really a Darth Vader fan. So like if you watched Obi-Wan, anything that Darth Vader was in, I just completely geeked out over. So I love this cover, Darth Vader walking through the sand in the desert. Absolutely fire cover by Rod Reese. So yeah, Star Wars Darth Vader #25, the cover C variant. And then sticking with Star Wars and another kind of Darth Vader cover, we've got Star Wars number 25, the Cover J Incentive by Alex Malik. Now, as I stated earlier, anything with Darth Vader, I'm going to geek out over. But this cover has my second favorite thing, and that is AT-AT walkers. And so you've got Darth Vader leading the charge. The AT-ATs are behind him. Looks like they're getting ready to go into battle. You've even got the fighters up in the air, and Darth Vader's leading them in. Yeah, I love that cover. Like, that's absolutely fire, dope cover. Cannot wait to get on the search for that one. And again, with our Jenny Friesen infatuation, this one is a cool cover. This is Grimm number 3. This is the cover C variant by Jenny Friesen. This is called the Reaper cover. Now, there's also a black, white, and red version cover of this. It's the 1 in 25 that I think is absolutely fire as well. I just think this looks like a rock star. I know it's the Reaper. He's got a hook, but that could be a microphone as far as I'm concerned. Kind of looks like Jonathan Davis from Korn. But I absolutely love this cover. Again, Friesen. I'm in love with all her stuff right now, and I love this cover for Grimm. And the new Grimm book out this week, Grimm number 3. This is the 1 in 10 variant by Christian Ward. And I just thought when I saw this, I was like, that is a eerie cover. And where it's black and red, it would look fire slap. So yeah, I think this is a great cover by Ward. 1 in 10 variant shouldn't be too hard to find. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for this one as well. And wrapping up our covers this week, we've got Grimm Fairy Tales presents Robin Hood, Children of Dr. Moreau, number 1. This is the cover D variant by Ivan Tao. Now, this one, I looked at it, I was kind of afraid not to put it on here. First off, I love the red background, right? Again, if you watch this at all, you know I love the red background. So you got the red background, and you've got this eerie-looking Harley Quinn puppet-type character. I don't know. It's just eerie, scary. I think it looks dope. Like I said, love the red background, love the character depiction, and it's just eerily scary. And yeah, absolutely had to put it on the list this week. All right, and that wraps up our covers this week. Like I said, there's a ton of good stuff out this week cover-wise. A lot of stuff that I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for. And hopefully some of these maybe you'll like as well. Now, with covers done, let's jump into our second prints. Just a couple of those this week. First off, from Marvel, we've got Fortnite X Marvel Zero War number 1. This is the cover H second printing by Sergio Davia. And the other second print this week, we've already talked about this book a lot this week. We've got Grimm number 1. This is the cover L fourth printing by Flaviano. All right, and that's it for our second prints. Let's jump into our one-shots this week, and we do have a few of those. First up, from Dark Horse, we've got Hellboy and the BPRD Time is a River number 1. When Hellboy accidentally left eclectic academic Lajos in a ghostly version of Budapest in The Miser's Gift, he did not realize how far-reaching the consequences would be. As timelines get crossed, reality starts to crumble, and Hellboy must return to the ghostly city to recover Lajos before it's too late. Mike Mignola and Mark Laszlo, along with colorist Dave Stewart, return with an explosive one-shot to continue the story began in The Miser's Gift, part of the Hellboy Winter Special from January 2020. So that's Hellboy and the BPRD, Time is a River, number 1 from Dark Horse. From DC, we've got Artemis Wanted number 1. After the events of Trial of the Amazons, Artemis is on the run from her sisters for her sins. She may say it was all in the name of peace, but not even Wonder Woman believes a word she says. Now the former member of the Bana Migdal is wanted by not only her people, but all Amazon tribes. Is there a future for a warrior who has destroyed her past? Find out as Artemis travels the world, searching for answers and a new path forward. She'll need all the help she can get, and it may come from the unlikeliest of sources, the gods. So that's Artemis Wanted number 1, the one-shot from DC. From IDW, in a book I'm really looking forward to, we've got G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, Best of Snake Eyes, number 1. He's the best of the best, ninja, soldier, and arguably the most recognizable member of G.I. Joe and the most mysterious. He is Snake Eyes. And here's your chance to delve into the mystery that surrounds this enigmatic and silent warrior, told by some of the greatest writers and artists in G.I. Joe publishing history. Yeah, Snake Eyes might not have a lot to say, but at nearly 100 pages of Ninja Warrior action, this special reprint comic is going to get plenty loud. That's G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, Best of Snake Eyes, and number 1 from IDW. From Antarctic Press, we've got Catgirl number 1. The feline fatale claws her way out of the pages of exciting comics into her own title. There's a new villain in town named Scalp Hunter, and he's gunning for Catman, but he hasn't counted on the hero's daughter coming to the rescue as Catgirl. That's Catgirl #1 from Antarctic Press. From Zenoscope, we've got Grim Fairy Tales presents Belle Return of Skyla #1, 32 pages of epic content. Now, with the key to the gates of Tortoise in her hand, Belle searches for the entrance to the underworld prison that holds her mother. But she has gotten the attention of a very powerful enemy from her past who wants nothing more than to stop her. That is Grim Fairy Tales presents Belle Return of Skyla #1 from Zenoscope. From Antarctic Press, we've got Niobe Origins #1. The origin story, 7 years in the making. Years ago, a talented teen named Niobe was performing an all-girl J-pop supergroup called the Geisha Dolls. At age 16, during a concert at a mall in Tokyo, she was mobbed by fans when her powers manifested. A ring of light flashed before everyone's eyes and she was gone. She reappeared at the back of the building and quickly realized her life was about to change forever. That's Niobe Origins #1 from Antarctic Press. So yeah, a lot of great one-shots out this week. Hopefully there's something there that piques your interest and maybe something you want to read. With the one-shots done, let's jump into the big two. We start with DC, and we've only got one book from DC this week. That is DC vs. Vampires All-Out War #1. This is a 6-issue limited series that follows a vampire resistance led by Constantine with Booster Gold, Deathstroke, and Mary Marvel. That's DC vs. Vampires All-Out War #1. Now let's jump over into Marvel, where we've got Axe, Judgment Day #1. The X-Men claim they are the planet's new gods. The Eternals know that position is already filled. The Avengers are about to realize exactly how many secrets their so-called friends have kept from them. Years of tension lead to a volcanic eruption as 2 worlds burn. Who has leaked the X-Men's secrets to their latest foes? Why is Tony Stark abducting an old friend? And who stands in judgment over the whole world? Judgment Day from Kieran Gillen and Valero Shitty is the apocalyptic emotional event to define the summer. So that's Axe, Judgment Day #1, where you basically got the X-Men's, the Eternals, and the Avengers all fighting each other. Sounds fun. Next up from Marvel, we've got Defenders Beyond #1. Al Ewing and Javier Rodriguez follow up their acclaimed Defenders There Are No Rules series with a new volume and an all-new lineup, including none other than Loki, God of Stories. When Doctor Strange sends a dire warning from beyond the grave, Blue Marvel, America Chavez, Taya, which is the mom of Galactus, Tigra, and Loki assemble to defend reality itself. Plus, you won't believe who shows up on the final page. That's Defenders Beyond #1. A bold new era starts here with Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings #1. Shang-Chi has gained possession of the powerful 10 rings, but so much concentrated energy has not gone unnoticed. Now, every bounty hunter, assassin, and evil syndicate in the Marvel Universe is coming to take the rings from him. But will the responsibility and the truth of the rings be too much to bear for the master of Kung Fu? That's Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings #1. And then wrapping up Marvel this week, we've got Star Wars #25. This is an anthology of stories from various creators that takes place from the prequel to sequel era of Star Wars. All right, Star Wars 25 wraps up the big two this week. Now let's jump over into our indie books. We start with Aftershock with Brother of All Men #1. It is 1928. Veteran of the Great War and part-time private eye Guy Horn travels to a remote community in Western Canada to retrieve his estranged brother from the clutches of a dangerous cult. As Guy struggles to gain control of his own personal demons, he is tantalized by the cause and its charismatic leader, Brother 12. A tightly plotted horror mystery based on a true story wherein Zach Thompson joins forces with artist Ian Marin for a new miniseries that blends the unexpected twist of hard-boiled detective noir with the uncanny traditions of folk horror. That's Brother of All Men #1. And I'm really looking forward to that one. There's several indie titles this week that sound dope, and I really like this one from Aftershock, Brothers of All Men. I think that sounds kind of cool, right? You're going to get your brother from a cult, but then you're having trouble not joining the cult yourself. So yeah, I think that sounds fun. I can't wait to read that one. From American Mythology, we have Florida Man #1. I think this one sounds kind of funny. Laugh out loud funny and unapologetically offensive, but with a heart of gold. This is the comic book personification of all those wild and weird Florida man news stories we've all been shocked by and laughed at for years. Eisner Award winning Mike Barron brings to life the tall tales of the most hilarious and notorious Florida native ever to be Google searched more than Kim Kardashian, Florida Man. Based on Barron's series of critically acclaimed Florida Man novels, the outrageous comic dives into the heart of the many of those bizarre stories we've all seen in news headlines and funny internet memes with a heartwarming story that's squarely aimed at grown-ups who still love comics. So yeah, I think that sounds fun. That's Florida Man #1, and that comes from American Mythology. From Antarctic Press, we've got Manga Z #1, presenting an all-new collection of manga-themed adventure from around the world, The Adventures of Linefield. Would-be Royal Guard Kyle, down on his luck, somehow finds his way into the Forest of the Lost, where he's captured by the elf Linefield. By elf law, no human is allowed to return alive from the forest. Can Kyle avoid a death sentence? That's Manga Z #1 from Antarctic Press. From Artist Elite Publishing, we've got Artist Elite Presents #1. Features the premier stories from Al Garza's Sandwinches, Brett Booth's Lost Serpent Prince, and the continuation of Tyler Kirkham's Final Boss. That's Artist Elite Presents #1. Jumping over to Dark Horse, we've got Young Hellboy Assault on Castle Death #1. Returned from their adventures on a secret island, Hellboy and the Professor move with the BPRD from New Mexico to Connecticut. The relocation is tough on Hellboy. Is he just homesick, or have scrambled memories from the island gripped the supernatural whippersnapper? Meanwhile, word of Hellboy's survival has also reached an unknown enemy who failed to kill him once before but is determined not to be fooled again. It's a roaring start to the second Young Hellboy series from Hellboy creator Mike Mignola and co-writer Thomas Sednowski, with art by Craig Russo and colors by Dave Stewart. That's Young Hellboy Assault on Castle Death #1. From Dynamite, and a book I'm actually looking forward to, Madballs vs. Garbage Pail Kids #1. This is the crossover of Madballs and Garbage Pail Kids, two cult classic innovative collectibles from the 1980s. Yeah, if you were a kid in the 1980s, you know about Garbage Pail Kids and Madballs. That's a very nostalgic read for me, and one I'm definitely going to pick up for simply that, for the nostalgia. From IDW, we've got Dark Spaces Wildfire #1. Now, this is from one of my favorite writers, Scott Snyder. 6 weeks into the slow burn of the historic Arroyo fire, a crew of women from an inmate firefighting program are risking everything on the front lines with their newest recruit. A white-collar convict with a deep network of shady dealers discovers they're mere miles from their crooked former associate's mansion. When she proposes a plan to abandon their duties and hunt for riches under the cover of smoke and ash, the team must decide if they're ready to jeopardize their one sure path back to normalcy for a shot at a score that would change their lives. But is this a flicker of fortune or a deadly trap? Scott Snyder and breakout artist Hayden Sherman craft an unforgettable heist for a new age in Dark Spaces Wildfire. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one as well. Now, I love Scott Snyder as a writer. I love all his stories. But you kind of give me a heist story, that adds to it, right? So Scott Snyder, a good heist story. I'm absolutely into this one. Dark Spaces Wildfire #1 from IDW. From Image, we've got a few books this week. First up, we've got Prophet Remastered Edition #1. The issue that started it all, Prophet #1, remastered by some of today's top comic book talents. Prophet made his first appearance in 1992, electrifying fandom, and we are celebrating and commemorating his impact with a star-studded roster of illustrators, creating all new magic with fresh new pages for this year's 30th anniversary issue. That's Prophet Remastered Edition #1. Now, this is another one that I'm really looking forward to, Rogues Gallery #1. Writer Hannah Rose May makes her comic debut with rising star artist Justin Mason for an all-new series with Declan Shavely. The Purge meets Scream in a home invasion thriller that follows disenfranchised TV superhero actress Macy Wade as she is terrorized by an unhinged group of intruders cosplaying her day job's arch villains. If Macy's going to survive the night, she'll need to be the superhero she has come to despise. That's Rogues Gallery #1 from Image. And I think that sounds cool. Basically, TV star plays a superhero, You get The Purge meets Scream. I love both those movies. And she's basically going to be terrorized Purge style by her arch nemesis from this TV show by a bunch of people cosplaying. So yeah, I think that sounds cool. So I'm definitely into Rogues Gallery #1 as well from Image. Now this next book is a book that I wouldn't normally include on my list, but Key Collector references this as a key book, and I want to make sure you guys are at least aware of it, and that is Skybound Presents After School #2. This is a standalone story titled The Storkening. According to urban legend, if you try to get rid of your baby, a monstrous stork will force you to keep it. But surely that can't be true, can it? Lee and her friends are about to find out just how true it is. Skybound sent retailers the following. The Storkening focuses on the unexpected pregnancy of a teenage girl and her right to choose, an issue that has unfortunately become as relevant as ever with the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. We understand that the content of the issue may be sensitive to some readers given the recent ruling, so we ask that retailers kindly inform their customers about the content as they see fit. The writers Kate and Brioni addressed the development of this story over several years in the afterword and will be donating their earnings for the issue, and Skybound Entertainment will match that donation as part of its ongoing donations to organizations that support reproductive rights. So that's Skybound Presents After School #2. And as I said, I try to keep this apolitical. I'm into politics and I enjoy that stuff. But comics for me are an escape from all that. And I guess it's just coincidence that this came out when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And like I said, this may be a key book for you, and maybe something that you want to point out and support that cause. So I've provided that information to you here. Skybound Presents After School #2 from Image. Right, now let's jump over to literary publishing. Till Death Do Us Part. Following a fatal accident, a newly incorporeal lover makes an earnest attempt to reconnect with their widow. But will their paranormal meddling be for better or for worse? That's Haunted Beloved #1, and that is a one-shot from literary publishing. From Merck Publishing, we've got Death Rage #1. Discover the secret origins of the Spartan World Order's resident bad boy in his own series. The black sheep of the Mercs, Death Rage, has set social media buzzing with his antics at the Merc Gala. You can see that in Miss Meow #1. Now witness his heroic beginnings, his tragic betrayal, and his rise to superhero celebrity fame and fortune, and learn why the other Spartans hate him so much. The roller coaster begins here. That's Death Rage #1 from Merck Publishing. From Oni Press, we've got Blink #1. Wren Booker was 3 when she was found catatonic and covered in blood on the streets of New York. Since that day, she's been haunted by a childhood she can't remember. After decades of searching, Wren stumbles upon a cryptic website streaming multiple CCTV feeds from strange rooms in a ruined building, and something clicks, setting off hidden memories that lead her back to a place she's seen in lifelong nightmares. Hunting for answers, Wren breaks into the building, but instead finds herself entangled in the camera-filled dark mazes of a decayed social experiment known only as Blink. So that's Blink #1 from Oni Press. I think that one sounds good as well. I'm definitely going to be looking for that one this week to give that a read. Also from Oni Press, we've got Rick and Morty Presents Big Dumb Summer Vacation #1, the worst summer vacation ever. When Rick picks a planet with strange rules regarding beach access, Jerry does everything he can to break them. What could be worse than a sunburn? Sun parasites. That's Rick and Morty Presents Big Dumb Summer Vacation #1. Now let's jump over to Scout. We've got 3 books from them this week. First up, we've got Little Red Ronin #1. A terrible beast has haunted the citizens of Pole Town for decades. Although the monster hasn't been seen in years, disappearances and gruesome killings still plague the townfolk. Determined to clear her name, Red hunts the Great Wolf in hopes of exonerating her grandmother, who lives in exile for spreading terrifying propaganda. That's Little Red Ronin #1. Locust, Ballad of Men #1. Are you ready to return to the world of Locust? Max's journey revealed in a series of flashes between past and present, bring us closer and closer to Ford's lair. However, proximity to Ford is the very antithesis of safety, as the fanatical cult leader now seems increasingly ready to devastate everything in the name of his insane religious vision. That's Locust, Ballad of Men #1. And wrapping up our key issues this week and our books from Scout, we've got She Bites #1. Elsie Baker is a 134-year-old vampire in the body of a 9-year-old girl. Sick and tired of stupid adults treating her like a lost little girl and not letting her buy cigarettes, Elsie decides to hire a babysitter to be her chaperone. Enter Brenda Zielinski, a suicidal teenager in search of some quick cash so she can buy a one-way ticket to Scotland to jump off a cliff. Despite the generous payday, it turns out that babysitting a vampire might be more trouble than it's worth. That's She Bites #1 from Scout Comics. All right, now, with our key issues out of the way, let's jump into our last category, and that is our first appearances, and we do have several this week. First up from DC, we've got Black Adam #2, where we get the first appearance of Malik as White Adam. Also from DC, in Flash #784, we get the first full appearance of Night Flash. Jumping over to Marvel, we've got Avengers #58, where we get the first full appearance of Ghost Ronin, Samurai of Vengeance. Then we've got Iron Man #21. This actually has a sick Alex Ross cover as well. He's the GOAT. Love Alex Ross art, but he did the cover for this one. That's Iron Man #21. We get the first appearance of Switchback. And then wrapping up our first appearances this week is Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings #1, where we get the first appearance of Red Cannon. All right, guys, that is it. That's a heck of a list. A lot of great stuff coming out this week. Definitely for me anyway, going to be a tough week on the wallet with all these great covers, all these cool first appearances, great indie stories to read. Like I said, a lot of good stuff from DC, Marvel, a lot of great one-shots this week. So yeah, definitely an expensive week for you boy the Don here. All right, guys, that's it for me. Appreciate you guys coming over here and hanging out with me on the channel for a little bit today. I hope this video helps you in some way making your choices for New Comic Book Day, July the 20th, 2022. Hope you guys have the greatest New Comic Book Day ever. I know I'm going to, and you know how we end these things. Until next time.